I'll be glad to leave. I've had all of this place I want.
Manus, God of primal darkness, as thou hast decreed, so have I done. The hands of fate have doomed this man. Thy will is done.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael and welcome back to Dark Souls 1. We are standing right outside of Manus' boss door here. Supposedly you can see his eyes in there, but I don't know if I was ever able to really do that. I've got the sunlight maggot on, you can see it's not really doing anything. Yeah, we're gonna go back to the bonfire and become alive so we can summon Sif for this boss fight. And we've switched back to the Great Scythe, because that's just a better weapon, you know? It's just a superior weapon. And this is actually one of the tougher boss fights in the game. This boss fight is, probably for me anyway, and it's different for every person, third in terms of toughness overall, next to Ornstein and Smough and the Four Kings. And honestly, I've gotten into kind of a good rhythm with Ornstein and Smough, so this might actually be the second most difficult boss fight in the game. Again, because this boss is extremely aggressive, very dangerous, and unlike Artorias, he has a very powerful magic attack that it is difficult to dodge and hard to work around. The, summoning Sif for this boss fight is a little tricky and a little weird, because uniquely in the entire Dark Souls game, Sif's summon sign is in the boss room, so you have to actually summon him as you're fighting the boss. You can imagine Sif fighting Manus alongside Artorias, you know, when they originally fought, and that's kind of cool, but it's very tricky to summon him. You have to, as soon as you land in the boss room, you have to move left very quickly. And as soon as you move left, you have to press exactly where the summon sign is. You don't have to wait for an OK or cancel. You just click it with green and then move away and it instantly spawns in. You don't have to go through this like a standard summon sign. And doing that before Manus gets to you and starts hitting you is very difficult. And usually I'm going to take a hit when I start out doing that. But we're going to attempt to do that. Sif is a good distraction. He has lived to the end of the boss fight usually. He has a surprising amount of health. It's just that he doesn't really damage people too much. I'm going to switch over back to my thief mask. And before we go in here, we have to remember to equip the silver talisman in our inventory. The silver talisman is a very, very important item for this fight. But let's just wait a second. And we got hit here. His arm has a surprisingly long reach. Manus, by the way, in Spanish means hands, so we can see why he got the name Manus here. His hand looks sort of warty and disgusting. His face here, the head there with all of these weird, I guess, horns or something around it, is very reminiscent of a helmet that we can get from Shulva in Dark Souls 2. I wonder if that's supposed to be a reference to that. And he has what looks like a club or an axe in one hand, but is actually a catalyst that we can actually make. It looks very primitive and cool. I kind of like it. And this is an extremely tough fight because Manus is very fast and very tough. And it's really not this that's so much dangerous. It's his magic attack that we're going to get to a little bit later on. The fact that Sifis here can draw his attention away from us so we can get just a little bit of health. I make a lot of mistakes here where I try to flask twice. I mean, not flask twice. I try to hit him twice before moving away, and that's not a great idea. He has a lot of jumping attacks. He's extremely fast, as you can tell here. Now, Lord Gwyn seems to have used what's known as the Light Soul, and the Light Soul, and we learn a bit more about this more clearly in Dark Souls 2, is more representative of the will to live, of existence, of life, of loving life. And the Dark Soul, the thing that this series is named after, is more sort of the original soul, the soul of death or something like that humans all have within them. Now that's why humans become undead, because we have a fraction of the Dark Soul within us. So maybe those humanity are really sort of like humans made, sort of like the spirit of humanity with the Dark Soul within us. And the Age of Gods this is his magic attack. If you use the silver pendant, you've got a tiny window where you aren't going to be hit. And usually you have to spam it twice if it's his overhead magic attack, which we're going to see in a minute. And the Light Soul in the Age of the Gods was fed by humanity. Humans were sacrificing their own humanity to keep it going. And so Gwyn wanted to create a religion so that humans would think this is a good thing and keep doing this. And it may be a good thing, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's good for us necessarily, but the alternative doesn't seem that great. You know, if this is the only alternative. And somehow Manus's humanity, and perhaps by extension the Dark Soul, ran amok. It sort of went crazy. And the Abyss, this symbol of death and the Dark Soul and negation of life, is... I don't know if it spawned around him or if it existed and it sort of manifested around here somehow. I'm not quite sure about how that happened. But the Light Soul, the symbol of the Age of Life, is representative of how we have to take life in order to live. Here's his overhead attack. Use this twice. If you use it just once, right when it starts, you may not have it until the very end. I'm just going to put some humanity here in case I run out of Estus. This is another dangerous one, too. You can roll through these things, but it's very tough. It's very difficult to do. It's better just to use the silver pendant there. And even though the symbol of light, the Light Soul, is good, essentially, or what this game represents as goodness, we do have to take life and take energy from others in order to survive. We have to, we live by sacrificing the humanity of others. And we have to do that in life. We have to live off of something. We have to take energy. Even if you don't take animal lives in order to live, you do need to take lives of plants, and you still need to take emotional energy from other people in order for you to survive. So we're all living in a way, in this kind of, I don't want to say predatory way. It can be predatory depending on how severe it is, but this draining way where we have to take things from others in order to survive. Now, what kind of a world the Dark Soul would bring, if it's just like the original world we lived in, where we were, emotionless pygmies like zombies or something like that, I don't know what that would be like. I don't know how we would survive like that, or if it would be totally different. And here we have defeated Manus, Father of the Abyss, and we have the Soul of Manus, which we can trade to Snuggly. And there's Dusk, who we have just rescued. Yay! We rescued Dusk! Hooray! And we're just going to talk to her, but she doesn't have anything to say. She's traumatized because of her experience, so she doesn't have anything to add here, unfortunately. So that was the Manus boss fight. It's absolutely great. I really like it. It's fun that you can just run to it without fighting a bunch of guys. You really don't need to fight many people to get to it if you know where you're going. Bringing along Sif is really cool. It's a very tough fight. It's a fight that I've yet to, sort of yawn off as being easy. I mean, there are a couple of fights in the game that began as difficult, like the gargoyle fight when I first played the game, but now it's like, gargoyles, who cares, right? It's become sort of blasé and simple. And now that we have saved Dusk, let us talk to Elizabeth.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk, and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all. I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us. Not long ago, I had another visitor, a human like thyself, from a faraway time. Only he was dreadfully odious, and I'm afraid that he is still amongst us. He wore a hat and a long black coat.
So we have just saved Dusk, and she will return now to Darkroot Basin, where we can summon her again and talk to her. Elizabeth there just mentioned a bit of dialogue I think we were supposed to get from before, where apparently, what's his name? Marvelous Chester came back here, and I guess we were supposed to get there before we meet him, as sort of like presaging that he's out there. But let us go see first if Gough has anything new to say. I don't think he does, but we may want to talk to him. We can kill Gough, but I don't know, we might do that a little bit later on, because Gough is such a great character. He's one of the best characters in the game, and I don't like killing him. It's mean. Although you can get Gough's armor, and it looks okay. It looks very unique, let's say. It looks a bit too big for you, which makes sense because it's for a giant. But usually they scale the armor down a little bit to make it look normal for you, but in this one, not so much. It looks a bit peculiar, but the waistcloth piece, the leg piece, that's suitable sort of barbarian waistcloth armor.
Thou comest again, legend of humans. It is always an honor to speak with thee.
Well, he's talking there about the giant blacksmith, and apparently he knows the giant blacksmith in Anor Londo. And if we kill the giant blacksmith, which we're probably not going to do, we can actually get his hammer as a weapon. It's not an especially good weapon, but I think it makes reference to the fact that it might be made of wood, and that Gough here is a wood carver and he made the weapon. In Gough's armor, we find out some odd things, like the fact that he was hated by, or not hated, but he was mocked by quite a few of the other gods and other giant peoples because they thought he was a sort of a mindless brute. He was more of a stereotypical cyclopean barbarian giant, and not like the sort of giant souls like Artorias was. And they made fun of him a lot. But let's see what Chester has to say.
Oh, you have quite fun. Well, I'll be seeing you. What now? You think this is all my fault? How very, very petty of you. Very petty indeed.
But what he's supposed to say, I think at the end, is like, no, please don't do it. Like he's a craven murderer who begs for his life at the end, I think. And I think we knocked over his candelabra here, and it's no longer lit. I love that. I love those little details. Just be careful when fighting him that kick can sometimes knock you off the edge here. And I've tried to kill him and almost got killed by the dogs at the bottom there, embarrassingly. So you may want to kill the dogs first. So I'm going to go talk to Dusk of Oolacile in the Darkwood Basin where the Hydra was.
I am Dusk of Oolacile. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes. My home of Oolacile was reduced to ashes long ago in my time. I have been alone ever since, but to be summoned thus, and to be of service to thee, it is most rewarding. Oh, forgive me. Such a long past time is none of thine concern. This may strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Oolacile, I was beset by a creature from the abyss. I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorius. In truth, I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled, but even still, there was something about Artorius, a certain balance of the humors that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that? Would this be of assistance to thee? Oh, dear me. That was Oolacile, many centuries ago. Please excuse my fanciful musings.
So tragically, Dusk does not appear to remember us or what happened. She must have been in a state of shock or trauma or something like that. And what happened there with Elizabeth at the end is that we will now accomplish what Artorius got the credit for, but we will not be known throughout history for having done that. And I kind of like that, stepping back, not going into the spotlight and demanding glory. That seems like the more heroic thing to do to me. And I think that I'm going to give her a proper bow. And unfortunately, I think now we're probably going to have to go kill Gough at some point. So, yeah, we're probably going to have to go do that. I've already been, by the way, back to the giant smith and to Gough. And apparently, they didn't have any kind of extra dialogue there. I thought because he mentioned him, they were going to say, oh, is he doing all right? What's going on? And they were going to talk about each other, but not that I got. And we got there the soul of Manus, which we can make either into his catalyst, which is sort of like a brutish barbarian catalyst and isn't very good, or into the pursuers, i.e. affinity in Dark Souls 2 magic that has sort of homing dark soul masses. But we might have to go kill Gough. Well, everybody, I didn't want it to come to this, but I think the only logical thing to do now is to kill Hawkeye Gough. He's one of the coolest characters in the game, but we might as well kill him because of reasons. Oh, you see, he's so nice. Now, one of the great things about this game is that this fight with Hawkeye Gough is actually another little boss fight. There are technically 4 boss fights in the DLC. You have Calamite, Manus, Artorius, and the Sanctuary Guardians. However, Gough himself is an extremely tough opponent and could easily be considered a mini-boss, I guess, in his own right. Now let's take him and listen to what he has to say, his world weariness.
Stop it, I say. So this is true human nature. Artorius is in your debt, but I'll leave you no choice. May you perish with it all.
Whoa! Jesus. He's obviously... Oh, shit. Damn it. I don't know. Oh, crap. Can I even climb up this while fighting him? He can actually do a truly amazing attack that is essentially like an elbow stomp, like a wrestling... Some John... Oh, shit. God damn it. Some John Cena shit. Come on, come on. Now, I believe he is blind, so if you use the slumbering... There it is! Whoa! You see that? You see that? Oh! Oh! You see that elbow? You saw... I know you saw that elbow. Jesus. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Whoa! Did you see that? Fucking hell. I had to walk back from Firelink Shrine. I hate that you have to sit at the bonfire in order for you to warp back there when you die. It may seem like it just takes a couple of seconds, but come on. Come on now. I like that these statues are holding Dusk's wand or catalyst. I'm switched. I hope the Great Scythe is going to make this easier. Because this guy is no joke. I mean, he is no joke, as you just saw. Whoa! God damn, you tough. Tragically, even though his armor is very good, you can't get it for such a long time in the game. Am I stuck behind this door? No, I'm not. Good. I really wish you can get this armor to wear sort of a barbarian build much earlier on. Oh, shit. Maybe I should try the Slumbering Ring. You know, fuck it, I'm putting it on. Where is it? Hope I have it. Where it produces no sound whatsoever. You notice my feet have these little round... I don't know what they are, little bits of energy on them. But you do still make sound if you attack. But I think while walking, I will make no sound, I think. Did he bleed? Am I bleeding this bitch? Whoa. 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 I don't know if I'm getting lucky or if the ring is doing something. I think I'm just getting lucky. Oh! Oh! Really cheesing Gough here. This is so ignoble of me. But, you know, it's better that it's tough, so it gives you a little extra challenge in the game. And you get 20,000 souls for killing Gough. I like his end there, just humans. Now let's see if I can put this on for you to see what it looks like. It is quite a bit silly. It is actually very, very heavy, too. Obviously, because it's for a giant. There we go. Yeah, I'm not... One YouTuber called Rurikon said that he likes to wear this for his dwarven builds, and I guess it does kind of make you look a little dwarven. It does make you look like a big fatty. Now let's take a look at this. There's something odd about the headpiece. Helm of Hawkeye Gough, one of Gwyn's 4 knights, received as a decoration of knightly honor. A helm crafted especially for the honorable Hawkeye. Only the eye holes were packed with tree resin by those who dismissed Gough as a brutish giant. Remember that Gough received this after, and look at it close, it is packed with tree resin. That's kind of disgusting. And he says that he is retired and blind, so in reality he wasn't blind at all, it seems. It was just his helmet that was packed with resin. And I really like the idea that he was not blind at all. And yet he seems so wise. He has this deep, booming, heavy voice that makes him seem so, so wise, so bright. And yet, he doesn't understand that he's actually just, his helmet is just packed with tree resin. It's not, there's nothing keeping him from seeing. You should just take the helmet off and you would see. It's like he really was as stupid as the people who dismissed him. But anyway, I never noticed this before. There's like an animal skin on the ground, and I guess that he was sitting on for comfort, or maybe he slept on this, like a giant bear, like a grizzly or a Kodiak bear was killed here, and he skinned it and he was wearing it. So that's kind of neat. Let's see what the chest piece says. Armor donned by Gough since his days as a dragon slayer, the medallion bequeathed by the Lord himself, and the dragon bone pauldrons are symbols of the highest honors. Now the medallion is pretty darn huge, but I guess because he's a giant it makes sense. And I love that the pauldron there is crafted out of dragon bones. So that looks really, really cool. I like that. Let's see if these other things say anything or not. Received as decoration rather crafted of similar material to the gauntlets worn by the Silver Knights. Huh, that's strange. And if you just wear, you see the leg piece, this looks like great barbarian type armor, sort of like a waistcloth that Conan would wear in a Frazetta comic book, like the Savage Sword of Conan. But you can get a similar effect from the Hollow Soldier's, or the Hollow Warrior's waistcloth. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. We did quite a bit, wandered around a little bit. We slew a mighty, mighty person, just for his armor, that I have no plan on wearing. But anyway, I will see you next time. Remember, what is bravery without a dash of recklessness?